Hi Karthik, how is Selenium?
Yeah, Selenium is a good tool.
Hi Karthik, how is Selenium?
Yeah, it's working really well. No problem on that.
Hi Karthik, how is Selenium?
Um, yeah, it's okay. Uh, but yeah, we have some problem with object recognition, and I have to keep on changing that every time. It's slow, but yeah, it is a good tool. I don't really complain about that. Hi guys, my name is Karthik and I am from executeautomation.com, and today we are going to talk about the era of non-Selenium automation testing tool. Alright, so let's get started. So I've been using Selenium for a pretty long time right now. I hope for sure you guys might have used Selenium for a long time for now. I guess the Selenium is something which released in 2004 by ThoughtWorks team, and then later it came into production for general public from beta and from alpha stage in 2009, I guess. And then a lot of people started to use WebDriver, and I guess a lot of people like me started to use Selenium a lot. Selenium is another great tool because it supports different programming languages like C Sharp, Java, Python, Ruby, and Perl. So a lot of language binding is already supported. And it also supports different ecosystems like Windows, Mac, and also Linux operating system. And also it supports various different browsers like Chrome, IE, Safari, and all those popular browsers are being supported by Selenium. So I guess there is no complaint from Selenium. At least I've been using Selenium a lot, and I have released so many courses in terms of using Selenium or consuming Selenium. And at least some of the tools I have seen, like Protractor, which are type of tools that are built on the top of Selenium, like Test Project and Catalan Studios, they are trying to leverage the power of Selenium by building tools on the top of Selenium so that they can make use of object recognition much easily. So we know that Selenium is really a strong tool to be used in the market, and I hope a lot of people are going to use Selenium for a pretty long time now. So what is this era of non-Selenium automation testing tools topic is all about? Are we going to discuss something new in this video, or are we going to discuss about something that we are going to completely abandon the Selenium tool itself? So we are going to see the whole thing in this video. So the era of non-Selenium automation tool has already begun, I guess. In our last year, I released a video on Cypress.io, one of these popular tool which completely doesn't really use Selenium tool at all. And that makes me feel more better and comfortable because the monopoly of using Selenium is trying to reduce right now, and there are so many different options are available for us to try out, because it is really important to see that we should not be just sticking with one simple technology, something like Selenium. We should have more options, and something like Cypress.io has come up with a different option to automatically wait and automatically run test more smoothly and much faster. I guess Cypress.io is doing really, really great in this department. And there are many different tools available, not just Cypress.io. Some of the tools like Puppeteer, testcafe, and nightwatch.js are the tools which are kind of very, very popular, and it's not Selenium at all. That's the most important tag that we should remember all about. So let's see each and every tool a little bit about, and in this video we are going to see a quick demo of just a couple of tools like testcafe and Puppeteer, because Cypress.io is something we have already discussed, we have already demoed it. So please go ahead and watch the video which is already available in YouTube. So in this video we are going to talk about Cypress, Puppeteer, nightwatch.js, and testcafe in a description, and also some of the demo, and we'll understand how it is different from Selenium itself. Cypress.io has clearly shown their 7 difference from the other rest of tools available in the market. Cypress.io does not use Selenium, which is really, really great to see. Cypress.io focuses on doing end-to-end tests really well, and it works on any front-end framework or websites. And Cypress tests are written only in JavaScript language binding, so there is no other language binding available in Cypress.io. But that's fine. I mean, as we discussed in our previous video on learning JavaScript and learning JavaScript based test framework, it's kind of an era of this year at least. A lot of people are going to use JavaScript in the testing platform. So for sure, learning JavaScript is going to be really, really helpful. And you can see that these tools that we're going to be discussing are all completely JavaScript based. So JavaScript is something that Cypress also uses for testing or making use of testing the application. And Cypress.io is for developers and QA. It runs much faster, and it has its own paid dashboard services. So you can see that this dashboard service is something which is available for running test in parallel, and it private test recording, and it does private and public test recording, supports of parallelism and grouping of tests and things of that nature. Again, based on the money that you pay, all these options are going to be visible for you. And the next tool is the testcafe. And once again, this tool has clearly mentioned that they are not going to be using Selenium at all, and they are completely different from Selenium. So unlike most of the testing solution, testcafe is not built on Selenium. This allows us to implement features you cannot find in Selenium-based tools, something like testing on mobile devices, user roles, and automatic weightings and things of that nature. And once again, testcafe is something which uses not the JSON wire protocol which is used by Selenium. Rather, they use something called as URL rewriting proxy protocol. So basically, this URL rewriting proxy protocol is something which is used for identifying the element, make a proxy within the DOM of the browser, and perform an action on the elements on the browsers basically. And testcafe offers a free as well as paid solutions. And once again, the paid solution is called as a testcafe studio with an awesome IDE support. So we are going to be discussing about this awesome IDE support in this particular video, by the way, and you can see that it is really awesome to see that the tool itself is going to be doing some of the magical stuffs which we have been seeing in many other tools like Test Project and all other tools. Again, testcafe is really easier to work with as well. And the next tool that we're going to discuss about is the nightwatch.js. Nightwatch.js is an automated testing framework for web application and websites. It's written in Node.js and uses W3C WebDriver API. And they used formerly Selenium WebDriver, by the way. And you can now get a confusion like WebDriver is a Selenium thing and it's something which is already there in Selenium. So how come Nightwatch is different from not using Selenium at all? By the way, WebDriver is completely different from Selenium, guys. It's not the same. I have seen people just talking about Selenium WebDriver, right? Well, Selenium WebDriver is not both same. So basically, Selenium is different, WebDriver is different. Before Selenium WebDriver came in, Selenium RC was there, and people were using Selenium remote control. And then Selenium WebDriver came, and once WebDriver came, WebDriver is a specification to run the test on the DOMs and things of that nature. And WebDriver is now in the W3C specification aiming to standardize the browser automation, and WebDriver is a remote control interface that enables introspections and control of user agents. So it provides a platform and a RESTful HTTP API as a way of web browser to be remotely controlled. So that's what this WebDriver is all about. And that's what Nightwatch.js is going to be using as well. And the next tool that we're going to be discussing is the Puppeteer. And we'll be seeing a demo on this. Well, Puppeteer is something that we'll be discussing a lot in our next video or something like that, because Puppeteer is very popular and a lot of people are trying to use Puppeteer. So I have a separate video for Selenium versus Puppeteer in our upcoming videos, where we are going to be seeing a complete smackdown of how Puppeteer is better than Selenium or how Selenium is better than Puppeteer. So we are going to be discussing about that in the next video or something like that. So Puppeteer is a Node library which provides a high-level API to control Chrome or Chromium over the DevTool protocol. And again, Puppeteer runs in a headless by default, but can be configured to run full Chrome or Chromium. Most of the things that you can do in a manual browser can be done using Puppeteer. So here are a few examples. It generates screenshots, it crawls single page applications, it automates the form submission, UI testing, keyboard input, etc. And it creates an up-to-date automated testing environments, and it captures a timeline trace of your site to help diagnose performances, and it also tests the Chrome extensions. So you can see these are some of the features which we have never ever seen in Selenium. But yeah, Puppeteer actually has these kinds of solution in it. So we are going to be seeing a quick demo on how to use Puppeteer with Jest and also and how to use Testcafe Studio within our record and playback option of Mac or Windows or Linux operating system. It's really easy to use Testcafe as well as Puppeteer. And once again, these tools that we're talking about here are all platform independent, and they runs without any problem of dependencies that we have in Selenium and all those stuff. So we are going to see a quick demo, guys. Let's see everything in action and understand how things work. So for that, I'm going to flip to my Mac operating system right now. So Today we are going to see demo of two different type of products. One is just with Puppeteer and another one is testcafe. We have already discussed about cypress.io, and that's the reason we are not going to see the demo, at least in this particular video. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to work with the just with Puppeteer. So for that, I'm going to open the existing Just project that we have discussed in our earlier video while we were discussing JavaScript test framework to learn in 2019. So for that, I'm going to open my item, and then I'm going to open the just demo 1, and then I'm going to go and open the Visual Studio Code, and then I'm going to start creating a very super simple code. So the application that we are going to be automating this time is going to be the Execute Automation demo application. It's very super simple. It's like a static web page that we have already discussed many times in our Execute Automation channel. So if you enter the username as maybe admin and admin, and if you hit login, it brings you this particular page. And as you can see, there is a menu bar, and it has so many menu items inside it. So we are going to be grabbing all the menu item details, even which are inside the child elements. So that's the quest, and we are going to be doing that in a very super simple code fashion this time. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to install Puppeteer within my project. So I'm just going to be doing npm install --save -dev tier. You can see that the installation is so simple, so easy, and all you have to do is just grab the Puppeteer within, and it's going to be installing that for you. And once you install the Puppeteer, it is also going to be installing a Chromium driver. It's going to grab the Chromium driver, and it's going to be putting that into your node_module, because this is something which is required for executing the headless Chrome browser execution. So it's going to be downloading that for you over here, and that's fairly easy and straightforward installation here. And now I'm going to go all the way to create a new test this time. So I'm just going to call this as UI_test.js, and since this is UI testing that I'm going to be doing, I'll be doing that. The first thing I'm doing is I'm going to be calling the Puppeteer by first calling the particular file. Puppeteer is equal to require Puppeteer, and then I'm going to be calling the exact same describe that we were using earlier in our just demo that we saw. So test simple EA application navigation, and you can see that this particular syntax is pretty much like Mocha. So I'm just going to be calling that, and then I'm going to do a perform login and grab menu items. And since Puppeteer is actually running in asynchronous mode, we need to call the async here, and then we need to perform the operation. So the first thing we need to do is to call the browser. That's the most important thing. So for browser, we're just going to do like this. Const browser is equal to await. You can see that I'm going to be using await a lot here. And then the constant, the Puppeteer that we have created, I'm going to be calling that guy. And then I'm going to use the launch method. And you can see that you can also pass the executable path of the Chromium if you have one, or you can also pass the default arg, and then you can pass the launch method if you want. So I'm going to be using the launch method, and if you directly pass the launch method without any option, it's going to be running the code in a headless mode. But if you want to run that in headful mode, which means you want the code to be running with the browser window opened in here, you can do that as well. You can see there are so many different options that you can perform here. So the one which I'm going to be doing is the headless, which is something I'm going to be setting as false. So but the default option I'm just trying to override so that I can show you the Chrome browser being spawned, at least for this demo. And then I'm going to be calling the const page, and again it's going to be await, and since we are going to be running the page in the browser, and I'm going to be creating a new page within this particular browser. And then I need to navigate to the page. So for navigating, I'm going to be doing this. So wait page dot go to of this particular URL, and then wait until the DOM content is fully loaded. And then I need to focus on a particular element, and then I need to type some value in there, that is the username and password, and then I have to wait until the page is fully loaded. And those jars is pretty much like Selenium, but just that here it is very easy. All you have to do is this. You have to do a page.focus for the username, and you can see it get the focus. You don't really even have to pass this focus if you don't want it. So you can see this type username, I'm just grabbing it with the CSS, which is nothing but the name as username, and this is the admin, and similarly name as password. Again, these both are pretty much like the identifier that I'm using in, and then pressing in the enter, and you can see that I can also do a keyboard.press here to perform an enter operation, and then I can also perform a delay while entering it, and then I can wait for the navigation to happen. As we discussed in the video, the wait for navigation, all those stuffs are available inbuilt within this particular jest. Again, we don't really have to get into the details yet. We'll be discussing about just a lot more in our upcoming videos of this series, but as of now, just bear with me. This is how you can do all those things. And again, I'm going to be doing some other funny things like grabbing all the menu details and showing that all information on the console. So the code is going to look something like this, and then I'm going to wait or maybe set a timeout period for this whole code to be executed, maybe for like 6,000 milliseconds or something like that. I'm going to save this. So once I do a save, you can see that automatically it is going to be bringing in the browser for us, and the test has been, I guess it is executed already. So now if I just go to the debug console, output, and then you can see that just has been selected here, and you can see the test has been successfully completed, and it has also brought all the menu items, like the menu names of the page, so quickly. And as I said, you don't even realize that the code is actually executing. So once I do a save, you can see things are running as fast as possible, and then the execution has been done pretty faster than compared to Selenium. And again, I don't really want to compare Selenium. Selenium also does the exact same thing if the page is very, very small, but just with Puppeteer is really, really faster than what I really have seen in Selenium. Hope you saw the whole performance of Puppeteer itself. The next thing we're going to discuss is all about working with the new tool, which is nothing but testcafe. So I'm just going to be opening the testcafe studio, this one, and then I'm going to start creating a new project from here. So you can see that I have already tried eaapp.somi.com, so I'm going to be using the exact same app, which is kind of working. So I just want to stick with that. So this is the eaapp.somi.com website. I'm just going to close this guy, and I'm going to paste this particular URL here, and I'm going to do a start recording. So you can see that I'm not even really going to show you the code this time. Rather, I'm just going to show you the record and playback option. And once the record and playback option is fully done, I will show you how the code actually looks like. So you can see that currently I'm doing a recording here. You can see you can also add some sort of annotations here if you want. And I can hit login. And then I'm just going to go to the employee list, and I'm going to hit the benefit. You can see the page is going to take some time for that. And I'm going to do an edit, and I can just save this guy. I'm going to go to the manage user. I'm going to scroll all the way down. So there is a guy. So I'm just going to make it as guest. I'm going to assign this, and then I'm going to do a log off. That's it. This is my recording. And now I'm just going to do a stop recording here. Right? So this way I did the record and playback completely. And now if I just want to see if I could able to run the whole test here, so I'm just going to hit this run. You can see that it is going to be launching our test pretty much like how it did before during the recording option. So it's going to be running in a sandboxed its own environment, and you can see that it shows me what it is actually doing. It's bringing the big mouse there. It's really cool to see. So it's waiting for the element to appear. As you can see below, it's bringing that up as well. For some reason, it's not really bringing the things up. I don't know why. It should have executed the test, but it's not running that. But let me give a second try. I think there is something wrong because it has to click this back to list link, which for some reason, I guess during my recording, it has not clicked that. So in order to fix this particular issue, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is just right click, and you can just right click this guy and convert this to JavaScript code. You can see this now going to be converted into a JavaScript file, and then I can go back to the show in Finder, and I can open this guy within our Atom or any different IDE of your preference. So I have opened that, and I'm just going to be closing this guy. So this is the code. So basically it is going to be clicking the username, tab, password, backspace, and then it is going to be entering all those details for us like benefits, and then it should click, I think it has clicked this benefit 2 times or something like that, so I guess this is the one, the benefit, and then it should click the edit once it does that. So I'm just going to save this guy, and I'm going to come back once again to this particular JavaScript file. You can see that everything is right now in JavaScript. It is not even Selenium, so everything is automatically done with the JavaScript options which is available. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to do the username and password entry, benefits, and now it clicks the back to list, which is cool. Edit, save, and manage user. It changes the particular option, and the test has got passed. And you can see that it is very literally super simple. And again, we don't really have to tell that the testcafe is not really working fine, because this is still in alpha stage. It is not really released in the production. That's why the record and playback is kind of failure. But you can see that the code that is generated from the testcafe is very super simple. It's all it does is it just does exactly the same thing like a fixture, and there is a test, and it is running still in asynchronous, like how we saw in our earlier code for the just with protractor. It is still asynchronous, and it is doing the click, type text, press key to perform the operation, and all those stuffs. Pretty simple. And again, testcafe is free tool. You can grab the tool and you can install that in npm, and then you can start using it pretty much like how you can do with just an puppeteer. It's pretty much exactly the same thing, guys. There is no difference on that. And again, this tool is also very fancy and very simple. As you can see, all of these options are available within this particular IDE, and these are really cool. So these are the great things that I can see, that all these tools, which is non-Selenium, are really working fine than Selenium. It is much faster, and it is doing exactly the same things. So the speed problem that we were discussing all these days with Selenium is completely gone. It is kind of very fast, and it is automatically parallel in nature, and it is asynchronous, and it is running super fast than Selenium. So that's it, guys. This is how we can see that the era of non-Selenium tools have already begun, and it is kind of very fascinating to see different tools and different companies are coming up with different kinds of option, which is really great to see that in near future we are going to be seeing these kinds of tool a lot. This is cool because there is a growth of ecosystem, and also there is a growth of competition between Selenium and other tools, which is going to be a healthier option for testers like us to learn different kinds of tools, different kinds of technology, and evolve based on those toolings in practices. And once again, if you have any comments and questions, and if you feel like this tool is not really great than compared to Selenium, please comment in this particular video below so that we can discuss about it in our next video, or maybe we can expand this discussion in next video. So once again, thank you very much for watching this video, and have a great day.